we'll talk about what I talked about with you guys off the air, because, you know, when you think about moving somebody, right, I think Marner is the guy that probably you'd like to move only because it's so much money, right? He's a really good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a really good player. But if you move out 10.6, 10.9, whatever it is, that's a lot of money.
10.9 million.
So it's going to be hard.
We don't care about the cash, just the AV.
Really hard to do that, right? But we just talked about yesterday, there's a fella in Columbus who's a big, long, lanky defenseman.
He's older.
That is got 1 year left on his current contract. He's only a couple of years older than Marner.
Yep.
That wants to test the market. So maybe if the Toronto Maple Leafs are willing to part with Marner, they could make a deal with the Seth Jones people. Now, that would be contingent lots, as you know, on Seth Jones being willing to sign an extension.
He's got a year left.
And I think
you wouldn't make that trade without knowing.
Of course, you'd have to have that in your pocket.
So you say, I want to talk to him.
Exactly. And Columbus,
I'm not making a trade.
Yeah,
but I will make the trade, but I need to talk to Seth Jones.
Exactly, and talk to Pat Brisson, his agent, and that whole process. Yeah. And for Columbus, they're in a tough spot, right? They've got to trade Seth Jones, it appears. He's going to test the market. You could get nothing for him. If they could get a player of the ilk of Mitch Marner, who's a 24-year-old kid who still has a lot of upside to his game. Now, he's making a lot of money, but Columbus can afford it because they'll let all these guys leave, right? And there's no protections for Mitch at this point where Toronto can't move him. So his only option would be to stick his skates in the ice and say, I'm not going there. But I don't know how much that helps him.
Yeah.
Because really there's no recourse for him. So I think at the end of the day, that's one possibility. And just something, as you think about these possibilities, Toronto to add a guy like Seth Jones all of a sudden makes their blue line a lot better, and I think that's an area they need to improve. But even with that, you'd sign him, he'd probably be about a $9 million player. You save a little money based on what Marner's making, but you still got to figure out how to build out the back of your group and your goaltending. So there's some challenges ahead, no matter how you do it in this fantasy land suggestion that I've put forward here. But even if you do that, you still have challenges because of the flat cap.
That would go a long way to building out their back end, though.
Yes, it would.
Because Seth Jones is capable of playing anywhere from 25 minutes on the low end to 28, 29.
Yeah. And now you'd have Riley with him.
You got him and Riley.
But Riley's contract is coming to an end soon, too, so that's a consideration. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.